How you doing, buddy? Hey, boy. You know any tricks?
Alright, I gave you guys a cute dog video now. Give me another 10 fucking million subscribers, you sons of bitches. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the next and latest episode of Gitbag the Great's Fallout 4 playthrough with me, Gitbag the Great. Now, last time we finished off with a very explosive finale to the railroad ending to the main questline in Fallout 4, and so I thought I'd cap things off finally with the Minutemen ending. This is probably the easiest ending really when I come to think of it, and until recently I hadn't actually tried doing the railroad ending myself, and it probably is the hardest if I'm honest, but at the same time this one is probably the easiest, because while the Minutemen don't really have the same kind of armour and firepower as the Brotherhood of Steel do, they certainly pack enough punch in terms of just like sheer weight of numbers and the fact that they have some very cheap and easily producible weapons, so they're reasonably well armed to the extent that they can just smash through most base level opposition. So the Minutemen, probably not being, well actually maybe come to think of it, they're probably not the most universally easiest ending to come up with. The Brotherhood of Steel are probably the easiest. The Minutemen are probably second easiest, just because of the fact that they don't have as heavy armour and weapons as the Brotherhood of Steel. But even still, their ending is quite the entertaining triad. So we are going to talk to Preston about building the signal interceptor here in Sanctuary Hills. And when we come to meet Father, we're going to choose a slightly different dialogue selection with him, so you'll see a slightly different ending to the initial meeting with Father when you enter the Institute. I may get on to at some point doing a little bit of a playthrough of the Far Harbor DLC, so you guys can keep an eye out for that when you do. But for now we're just going to crack on with the Minutemen ending, and first we're going to have a little chat with Preston.
What do you need, General?
Well, I need you to stop walking away from me first.
I have plans here to build a signal interceptor that can get me inside the Institute.
The Institute? Why in the world would you want to mess around with them?
They kidnapped my baby.
Damn. That's some bad business.
Ah, ginger
Even
beer.
for them.
Lovely stuff.
We'll give you whatever help we can. Don't worry about that. Now, assuming you could build this thing, what exactly does it do?
The Institute uses teleportation to get in and out. This machine can hijack their signal and send me instead.
Teleportation? For real? Wow. That would explain a lot about how the Institute manages to operate. If anyone can make heads or tails of those plans, it'd be Sturgis. I haven't found anything yet that he couldn't build or fix.
Alright, so now that we've figured out who we want to take our plans to,
I cleared out the ghouls that were giving that settlement trouble.
we'll just have a quick chat with Sturgis to see what he can do to help us out.
I've got something a bit... Our scouts have found a promise. Once you clear it out, before you know it, we'll have a thrive...
Alright, good stuff. Alright, let's see. Data, let's see. Alright, now I just got to go back to talk to Sturgis. Not in his usual spot though, it seems.
You can fix just about anything.
Yeah, whatever.
Guns,
I don't care about your generic dialogue. Just tell
gotta
me.
have the right tools.
Fucking hell.
Preston thought you might be able to figure out these plans for me.
Sure thing. Let's see what you've got.
Here you go.
Wow, what a mess. Looks like encrypted RF transmissions. Okay, so that gets routed through... What the hell? Teleportation. This is some pretty crazy shit. You sure it's for real?
Damn sure, ropey Elvis impersonator.
It's real. I got it from an ex-Institute scientist.
Seriously? I didn't know you could be an ex-Institute anything and still be breathing. Anyway, the eggheads never think about the nuts and bolts of actually making something work. But, looks like it's all here. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's
gonna need some
entirely
time to
true, with all
study
due
this thing.
respect to the scientists.
Handwriting's pretty hard to make out. But you can get started on what he calls a stabilized reflector platform. It'll need some pretty high-grade metals, but it's basically not that different than the lining of a jet engine or something like that.
Good work, Sturgis.
Well, don't thank me yet. I think I got the gist of it, but it's gonna take some time to work out the details of some of the hairier sections.
Here's a list of what you'll need for the first piece. I'm pretty sure we've got all that at Sanctuary, if you want to build it there. While you're working on that, I'll get busy figuring out how to actually build the rest of this thing.
Keep in mind, I can already see this is gonna take a crazy amount of juice. Like if you had a spare nuclear reactor handy, we could probably use it. And it's going to be big. So find a nice open building site with lots of power available.
To be fair, with that quip about the nuclear reactor, I probably have so many fusion cores at this point I could just melt them together to create just one big fucking nuclear reactor of my own. Yeah, let's see. A reflector platform. Can't build it there because I built a little shelter for my suits of power armor. So, I think we're gonna go with this spot right by the river. Yeah. Alright, there we go. Let's see, go back to Sturgis. Where is he? God, has he just vanished now? Oh, God's sake. Great, where is he? I hate when the fucking quest does this. It just vanishes fucking objectives when it's a person walking around in the settlement and just makes it instantly harder for you to get around to finding them. He's right here, so where has he gone? There he is.
Sturgis.
How's it going? Did you find a good spot to build your signal interceptor?
Yeah. Ready to build the rest of it.
Good. I think I got a handle on this crazy contraption. At least as much as I can tell. Until we actually try to build it, here's a list of 3 things that may be harder to find. I think I'll be able to pull together everything else we're gonna need.
I'll meet you over at the building site and see if we can actually make this thing work.
In other words, basically you want me to do all the hard legwork, so... yeah, alright.
Thanks, Sturgis. I'll get right on this.
Good deal.
One thing to keep in mind while you're building this, it all needs to be wired together so all the pieces can talk to each other.
I'll see you over at the building site. Good luck.
Alright, I'll pop off for a bit. Ooh, I never saw that.
Bingo.
Critical hits with unarmed and melee attacks, 25% extra damage. Nice! Never saw that, actually. So yeah, I'll get on to fetching these few little bits of extra equipment and materials. I won't want to bore you guys with it, considering I've done it, I think, like 2 at least times on this playthrough already, so... yeah, I'll just get on to that now, and I'll meet up with you guys again in a little bit, while me and Dog go for a little bit of a walk. Okay, so... me and Dogmeat are now back from our little quest to fetch the golden gauntlet, and we've gotten together all the little bits and bobs we need to finally build the rest of the teleportation device, and we built it here on this little platform in the middle of Sanctuary Hills. Hopefully the locals won't mind it too much, so now we've just got to have a quick chat with Sturgis before we head on in.
Ready to see if this thing actually works?
I wish we could test this beforehand, like I've always said every fucking time, but... details.
Let's do this.
You sure? Okay. Your part is simple. Just step onto the platform. I'll start scanning for an Institute signal to lock onto. Then, I fire her up and we see what happens.
God, I wish we could just test this bloody thing.
Just get on the platform. I'll do the rest.
Dogmeat's just sitting there, just like... bring me back some dog biscuits.
Hold real still. I don't want any corruption of the
He doesn't
molecular
wanna
feed.
look.
Oh yeah, by the way, I figured this was a golden opportunity to find out as much as we can about the Institute, and what they're up to. Yeah, this holotape's all set with a program that will scan their network and download anything it finds. Uh-oh. Yeah, we better hurry. Yeah, don't worry about that tubing wiggling around. Just there for decoration. Okay. Scanning for the Institute signal. Tracking RF. And... got it. Hold on to your butt.
Oh god, I wish we could do test runs of this bloody thing. So let's see, just loading this, loading the holotape, network scanner, network scanner, network scanner. There we are. Alright. Alright, I fucking did. For God's sake, I don't forget it.
Hello. I wondered if you might make it here.
This bit always
You're
skews
quite
me out, but the
resourceful.
first time I played this game, this bit
I'm
here
known as
gave me
Father.
the fucking
The Institute
goosebumps.
is under my guidance. I know why you're here. I'd like to discuss things with you face to face. Please, step into the elevator.
God, I swear to God, every time I come through this bit, I always think of how the first time I interacted with this part of the game, and it completely blew my mind away that the father
can
turns
only
out to be your
imagine what
son.
you've heard.
It's not really the
What
most
you think
magnanimous
of
twist
us.
in the history of video game storylines, but at the same time,
I'd like to show you that you may have
it's
the wrong
it did
impression.
shock me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. And this bit, well, the
Welcome
first couple
to
of
the
times I played it
Institute.
it just creeps me out, I'm not gonna lie.
This is the reality of the Institute. This place, these people, the work we do. For over 100 years, we've dedicated ourselves to humanity's survival. Decades of research, countless experiments and trials, a shared vision of how science can help shape the future. It has never been easy, and our actions are often misinterpreted by those above ground. Someday, perhaps, we can show them what we've accomplished. But for now, we must remain underground. There's too much at stake here to risk it all. As you've seen, things above are unstable.
Yeah, that's a bit of an understatement.
I'd like to talk to you about what we can do for everyone. But that can wait. You are here for a specific, very personal reason.
Hang on. Wait a minute.
You are here for your son.
Just thought I'd put on my normal helmet so it can emote a bit.
Sean?
Huh? Yes, I'm Sean.
This bit did really creep me out when I first played through it. It's kind of a heartbreaking scene. Now I've seen it a few times, it's kind of been desensitized me a bit, but
Sean?
it's still really sad,
my
some of it, to be honest.
It's really you.
Who are you?
Sean, it's me. I'm your mom.
Father, what's going on? What's happening?
Sean, Daddy's gone, but I'm here. Mommy's here now.
What's going on? Father? Father!
If he keeps shouting father, it's probably not a good idea to say daddy's gone. That's probably going to freak him out a little bit, if I'm honest.
Shh. It'll be okay, Sean. Mommy's here now.
I don't know you. Go away. Father! Father, help me! There's someone here, help me!
Please, Sean. I'm your mother. To talk to me. Just open the door.
Father? Father, help me! She's trying to take me!
Jesus
Father? Father, help me!
Christ, I tell you what, that kid puts a bit of effort into his voice acting, but that physical acting there is fucking
Sean.
atrocious.
S923, recall code Cirrus.
I like how they model your child on you in a sort of weird way. I mean, they have the same
Fascinating,
hair
but
colour as me.
disappointing. The child's responses were not... He's a prototype, you understand. We're only just now beginning to explore the effects of extreme emotional stimuli. please try and keep an open mind. I recognize that you are emotional, and that your journey here has been fraught with challenges. Let's start anew. I am Father. Welcome to the Institute.
Give me Sean. The real Sean. Right now!
I know. I know. You've gone to such lengths to find him.
Oh shit, sorry, I didn't
Just-
realise I had to press something there.
Help me understand what's going on here.
I promised answers, and answers you shall have. But I need you to realize that this situation is far more complicated than you could have imagined. You have traveled very far, and suffered a great deal to find your son. Well, your tenacity and dedication have been rewarded. It's good to finally meet you, after all this time. It's me. I am Sean. I am your son.
That blew my mind the first time I heard it.
It's really you. After all this time.
Yes. It's true. In the vault,
I've said this
You
before,
had
but I
no
think the guy who
concept
does the
of the
voice acting,
passage
both
of
the
time.
female main lead and on
you were
Father in this
released
game,
from your pod, and
I think
went
those two
searching
did do a
for the
really
son
good job, genuinely.
You'd lost. But then you learned that your son was no longer an infant, but a 10-year-old boy. You believed that 10 years had passed. Is it really so hard to accept that it was not 10, but 60 years? That is the reality. And here I am, raised by the Institute, and now its leader.
They stole you. Kidnapped you. It wasn't right.
Right, wrong, irrelevant. It was necessary. The
Yeah,
Institute
no,
believed
like I said before,
humanity's
this is a
future
pretty
depended on-
weirdly
At that
culty
time,
sort of
the
place.
year 2227. The Institute had made great strides in synth production, but it was never enough. Scientific curiosity and the goal of perfection drove them ever onward. What they wanted was the perfect machine. So they followed the best example thus far. The human being. Walking, talking, fully articulate, capable of anything.
So the weird science experiments needed specimens. That's why they took you?
In a manner of speaking. Yes. The Institute endeavored to create synthetic organics. The most logical starting point, of course, was human DNA. Plenty of that was available, of course. But it had all become corrupted. In this wasteland, radiation affected everyone. Even in their attempts to shield themselves from the world above, members of the Institute had been exposed. Another source was necessary. But then the Institute found me, after discovering records from Vault 111. An infant, frozen in time, protected from the radiation-induced mutations that had crept into every other human cell in the Commonwealth. I was exactly what they needed. And so it was my DNA that became the basis of the synthetic organics used to create every human-like synth.
See, that kind of weirds me out. They kind of took him, they
am their
implanted this sort of this sort
Through
of aim on
science, we
him.
are family. The synths, me.
They never really
And
gave
you.
him a way to grow up by himself, and so I feel like it's kind of a terrifying thing to do.
Sean. It's really you.
It really is. I know you must
The
have
Institute
questions.
is really fucked up.
Please.
On the surface level, they're pretty
Anything
creepy,
I
and then you
can
might
do to
come to
help
think,
you
oh, there might just
understand.
be pursuers of the in the
I don't want to hear any more right now.
you know, the
Very
sort
well.
of fruits of
The
science and
Institute is
reason.
on the verge of some important breakthroughs.
But
Your
when you think
presence
about it,
would be
they're really
appreciated
fucking
as we
evil. I
approach
mean,
them.
the
I've been
Brotherhood
a
of
part of
Steel,
something
kind of
amazing
do that.
here.
The Minutemen kind of do that.
I've helped
They
to
have their own
build a
ways
life
of
for
doing it. But
myself and the
the
people of
Institute,
the Institute.
and the Institute probably do
And
it the best,
now,
but they do it in a really
after
weird
all these
culty way,
years,
and
you
I
have
can't
an
side with
opportunity
them
to
morally
help
just
with
because
that.
of their such
Doesn't that
evil
intrigue you?
cultish status.
Isn't that what you want?
I won't be a part of this. I can't.
Why? Because of the reputation of the Institute. The Institute can provide a better life than anything above ground. You've been in the Commonwealth. You've seen what it's like. I assure you that you are better off with us.
Your institute has done some horrible things.
Yes, well, the world is not what it used to be. What about the people you've aided in order to get here? What atrocities have they committed? The Brotherhood of Steel. They believe they're the only ones fit to control technology and destroy anyone who opposes them. And you would side with them. None have any true claim to nobility.
See, that's
in this
typical
world.
cult status. If you've done
Those
something
days are
horribly
gone.
wrong, the best way to shift blame, to get rid
But
of
we are
the
not the
blame is to
monsters
shift
we
it
have
on
been
someone
cast
else and
as.
just immediately
I
divert the
simply ask
conversation.
that you give the Institute, me, a chance. A chance to show you what I've been telling you. We really do have humanity's best interest at heart. Will you take that chance?
I'm sorry. I can't do that.
I'm sorry to hear that. I had certainly hoped we could work together. But every man must make his own decisions. If you choose to leave, I cannot force you to stay. Understand, though, that I cannot allow you to remain within the Institute. You may have safe passage back to the relay, where you will be sent back to the surface. But from that point, you must be considered hostile. I am sorry. I must think first of the safety of the Institute. And in the cruel world that has developed, those who are not with us are against us. The elevator will return you to the relay.
Such a sad way to go, I suppose. But I really just can't agree with them on a moral basis. There are genuinely more evil people than Father himself in the Wasteland, but I've said it before so many times, the sheer brutality of the way of which the Institute achieves their aims, for me, kind of outweighs their aims in and of themselves. Yes, they're achieving the aim of like, obtaining ultimate reason and scientific perfection, which I think is a very admirable thing to do, but at the same time, the methods by which they achieve it are just brutal. You know, deassigning people their own individual rights and freedoms, you know, literally stripping whole towns of materials just to fuel a few, you know, synth production programs. It just seems to me like a particularly nasty way of going about your sort of business, and I suppose, you know, you could argue that the ends justify the means, but for me, that kind of doesn't really matter, to be honest. But if that isn't going to work, then we're just going to have to fight them. I think we're going to get onto that next time, because after this happens, I remember you get into a massive battle with them, so I think might end it here, and might go to that massive battle in the next episode. So this may be the end bit. We'll just go to talk to Preston first. We'll have a little chat with him first of all, and then I'll decide what to do. I might just end it here and then pick up in the next episode of this big battle, where we are going to clash with the mighty armies of the Institute. So I'll talk to you guys again in a little bit. Okay, so back now at Sanctuary Hills, we've just got to talk to Sturgis.
Here's that holotape you gave me. Full of Institute data. I hope.
Well, all right. I'll start digging into this and see if I can make heads or tails of it.
We need a way to bring the fight to them.
Let's hope we got something we can use. Well, they sure aren't gonna fall for that teleport hijacker trick twice, even if it wasn't a smoking pile of scrap metal. All the good stuff on here is gonna be encrypted. So the first job is to see if I can crack it. After that, well, I'll have to see what I've got. There's no telling what we might have grabbed off their mainframe.
And hopefully we haven't picked up Father's browser searches. I do not want to see what kind of weird metallic cult that old fucker has watched. See, I swear Preston is around here somewhere, isn't he? Yeah, there he is.
I received word from the castle. Apparently, they've spotted hostiles scouting the perimeter. We should go find out what's going on.
Excuse me.
I got word of a settlement that needs our help.
What the
Here's where
fuck
they
did you
are.
just do?
I hope you can help
Just
us.
snapped
We've
his
got
neck.
to show people they can count on the Minutemen again.
Alright. I think we're going to leave it there. I think I am going to get into the Battle of the Castle next time, so we'll pick up on that next episode. But as always, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I know it was a little bit more dialogue heavy, but don't worry, next episode will be a bit more enticing and action-packed, so we'll catch up again in a bit, whereupon we will finally bring the fight to the Institute by holding the line and then counter-striking them to smash them into the dirt. So, I'm going to follow Preston, and I'll meet you guys next time at the castle. And of course, until then, have fun, stay safe, you know, have fun with whatever you're doing. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And until next time, I've been Gitbag the Great, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.